أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين لا سيما قاسم ibn al-Hassan. In Islam, great emphasis has been laid on respecting the orphans. The Holy Prophet ﷺ saw difficult time in his young age because he was an orphan. His grandfather, his uncle Abu Talib, only very close people to him respected him. He has a hadith that Kafilul yatime kahatene ma'iya fil jannah. The person who looks after an orphan will enter the paradise with me like the two fingers remain together. And there are many traditions emphasizing. The Holy Prophet ﷺ says that even your own child, you should not show affection to. Do not kiss your own child in front of the aitam. It is said that whenever after the shahada of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Imam Hussain used to go to the house of Imam Hassan with his children, he would kiss the children of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, his nephews and nieces. He would embrace them, he would show love for them, but he would not kiss his own children in front of his nephews and nieces, so they don't feel that they don't have a father. This is Islam, where you have to show so much care about others. Islam is against selfishness. We have to show care and respect to the others. The dignity and honor for orphans and for the deprived is enormous in Islam. It is said that Imam Hassan alayhi salam used to make special place for the aitam in his life. Imam Ali alayhi salam, it is said that he would not even feed his own children the things that he fed the orphans. Some of his companions, they said that the sufra, the dinner table that Imam Ali alayhi salam would prepare for the orphans, the things that he never ate himself, he would give them to the orphans and he would invite them. And he would say to them, "Come and eat, son of Abu Talib will be feeding you." It is said that when Imam Ali alayhi salam was struck by Abdul Rahman ibn Muljim, la'natullahi alayh, a physician was called by the people to look at Imam Ali alayhi salam and see how deep is his wound and will he survive, will he recover from it. So the doctor came out and he said, Imam Ali alayhi salam's wound is deep and it's also poisoned because the sword had poison in it. So he will not recover from it. It can only be delayed by giving him milk. They say that little orphans came outside the house of Imam Ali alayhi salam with milk in cups. When Imam Hassan alayhi salam went out of the house and he asked the children, "Why are you all here?" They all said, "We heard from the doctor that Imam Ali alayhi salam needs some milk, so we are all here to give our milk to Imam Ali alayhi salam, so he will live longer." Imam Hassan started crying and he said to Imam Ali alayhi salam that the children are saying that we will give our milk to, we will not drink any milk, we will give it to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He said, "O Hassan, O my son, tell the orphans, Ali has never eaten the share of an orphan." In Karbala, we have the sons of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. A number of the sons of Imam Hassan were killed in Karbala. And it is a common tradition, common practice amongst all the different cultures to remember Qasim ibn al-Hassan. Qasim was very young. He was only 13 and a half in the plains of Karbala. We have traditions that at the time of the Shahada of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when he was poisoned by one of his wives, Ju'da bint Ash'ath, his liver was very badly affected and it had pieces of it coming out. So one of it, when he lied down, he called one of his wives and said, please call my brother Hussain and my sisters. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when he called his brother Hussain and his sisters were coming, when he vomited, some parts of his liver came out, and Imam Hussain alayhi salam saw that and he started crying. Imam Hassan alayhi salam said to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, At-tabki alayya am abki alayk, la yawma ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. O Hussain, are you crying upon me? I wish to cry upon you even at this moment. There is no day like the day of you, O Hussain, meaning there is no day like Ashura. And then he said to Imam Hussain, just hide this utensil that is carrying, that has parts of my body in it. He said, why? He said, because I do not wish for my sisters to see this. Can you imagine the same sisters who went to Karbala and saw the body of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the body of their nephews and sons and brothers? There is a riwayah that says that when Imam Hassan alayhi salam was lying down in his final moments, Qasim ibn al-Hassan, his son, came to him, who was only 2.5 at the time, and came onto his chest and was playing with his father. So the mother said, Qasim, please come off your father's chest because he is in pain. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam said, no, let him play with me. Let him play. I'm not sure what was Imam Hassan alayhi salam remembering at the time. Was it Karbala he was seeing in his eyes? And at that moment he called his wife and said, I have written a hirs for my son. When he is in the most difficult time, then tell him to open it and read it, because it will have a solution to the problem he has. So Qasim ibn al-Hassan migrated when his uncle was, he announced that he's going to Karbala. His mother said that we want to come, and Imam Hussain allowed them to come with them. His sister-in-law and the sons. 4 sons of Imam Hassan alayhi salam gave their lives in Karbala. When Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam came with his uncle, and at the night of Ashura, Imam Hussain alayhi salam was speaking to the Shuhada, he was telling each one of them who will be Shaheed. He hadn't come to the name of Qasim ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam. So he said, and the history says that Qasim ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam got up and he said, oh my uncle, Ya Amma, is my name amongst the Shuhada of Karbala? Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, Kayf al-mawtu indak? How do you see death? What is death like to you? He said, Ahla min al-asal. It is more sweet. It is sweeter than the honey. I see death as something very sweet, because the death that happens for the sake of Hussain, that is giving your life for Imam Hussain Islam, is sweet. It has no pain for me. Imam Hussain Islam smiled at him and said, not only your name, but amongst the Shuhada there is the name of Aliyun al-Asghar. Even Asghar's name is in the list of Shuhada. He said, Qasim ibn Hassan, because he had the Ghaira al-Hashimi, he had the respect and the dignity of the Hashemites. So he said, will the enemies enter the tents? He said, no, the enemies will not enter the tents. I will hold Ali Asghar in my hands and I will take him to the plains of Karbala. Qasim was very ghayur, he was very respectful, and he had a lot of honor for himself and for his uncle, his family. He did not wish for them to be disrespected in any way. The history says that on the day of Ashura, when the different members of Imam Hussai's family were going into the plains of Karbala and giving their lives, Qasim ibn Hassan came to Imam Hussain and said, "Oh uncle, give me the permission to fight for you and give my life." Imam Hussain said, "You are a sign of my brother for me. You remind me of my brother Hassan, my late brother Hassan alayhi salam. So I do not wish for you to die." When Qasim wasn't given the permission, Mullah Habib Kashani and others have mentioned that he sat down outside the tents and he was crying. And while he was crying, his mother heard, and it is very difficult for mothers to hear the cry of their orphan children. So the mother came out and said, "Qasim, what's wrong? Why are you crying like this?" So he said, "Mother, my Uncle Hussain does not allow me to go and fight for him and die." So she said, "Your father wrote something for you and tied it to your arm. Why don't you open it?" Because he said, when the most difficult time comes, then ask him to open it and the solution will be there. So why don't you open it? I have not seen a time as difficult as this. Why don't you open that? When he opened the letter, Qasim was so happy and pleased. He wasn't upset. His father had written, "Ya bunayya Qasim, O my son Qasim, idha wajadta ammaka al-Husayna." When you find your Uncle Hussain, ghariban, madlooman, wahida. When you find your uncle lonely and he is oppressed and he has no help and he is left alone, then do not hesitate in giving your life for your uncle. Then give your life for your uncle. Do not hesitate. He became so happy, quickly cleaned his tears and ran to his uncle Hussain alayhi salam and said, "Oh uncle, look at the letter from my father." Imam Hussain read the letter, and they say that Imam Hussain got up and he kissed the letter, that my brother remembered me in my difficult time. When there is no one, only a few companions now left, my brother remembered me. He cried, and when he was crying, he embraced Qasim ibn al-Hassan. And they were holding each other. And the riwayah says that they were crying. Both of them were crying. Qasim ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam, and Imam Hussain alayhi salam. They were both crying. Qasim was only a boy at the time, so the armor did not fit him. The metal armor in olden days they would wear because when they were fighting, the arrows hit and they protect you. The metal armor used to protect you from the arrows entering your body. And the armor, if you drop on the floor, then sometimes when the horses were running, because you had metal on the body, so the horse could not break the armor, and it would protect you against being trampled. So they tried to fit in different armors on his body, but because he was very slim and small, he wasn't big, he was only 13 and a half, none of the armors were fitting him. So Imam Hussain alayhi salam said that the armor is not fitting. He said, "Uncle, I don't mind fighting without an armor, just place me on the horse and I will fight." So the history mentions that Imam Hussain alayhi salam placed him on the back of a horse, and he went and he started reading poetry saying that I'm the son of Hassan. And there was a big fighter, his name was Azraq. He was from Sham. He had many sons. So he told his sons, he said, "No, I'll send one of my sons to fight this boy. He's small." So one of the sons went and he fought Hazrat Qasim, and Qasim ibn al-Hassan killed him. The second son went, the third. When Qasim ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam, when he killed all of the sons, then Azraq came himself. He was known to be a big fighter that was equal to an army of 1,000 people. He was the head of 1,000 people. So when he came to attack Qasim ibn al-Hassan, Imam Hussain said, "Oh Allah, he has had food, he has had water, but my nephew Qasim is small and he is very thirsty. Oh Allah, give Qasim the victory over this mutakabbir, against this arrogant man." And Qasim ibn al-Hassan alayhi salam attacked and killed that man. When that man had attacked and he was dropping, he called the entire army to attack Qasim and said, "All of you come." When they all came, one of them from close by hit Qasim ibn al-Hassan at the back of his head with a sapphire, which was very big, made of metal, and Qasim could not hold on to his horse, the reins of his horse. Another person hit him with a javelin, so he dropped from the back of his horse. And when he was dropping from the back of his horse, he called, "Ya Amma adrikni, oh my uncle, come and help me. I have dropped on the floor, please come and help me." Imam Hussain alayhi salam ran with his horse to the battlefield. When Imam Hussain attacked the army, the whole of the army started running, and when they were running, they trampled the body of Qasim ibn al-Hassan. That the entire body of Qasim ibn al-Hassan was under the feet of the horses, and it trampled the entire body. And when it trampled the body, the whole of the body, all of the horses ran. But Imam Hussain reached. When he reached, he saw that Qasim ibn al-Hassan had been trampled, so he came to the ground, came off his horse, and he said, "Ya Bunayya Qasim, you called me, oh my son Qasim, you called me. I came, but it did not benefit you." He cried and he looked at the body. Many of the scholars mention that he took off his abba and he placed it on the ground to collect the different parts that had been trampled by the horses, and it had broken off the body. When the parts of the body were collected by Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he came back to the tents. While he was coming back, the mother of Qasim looked outside and she said to Zainab Kubra that, "My son Qasim is a young boy. How is Hussain ibn Ali bringing back the body? What has happened to my son?" It is difficult to give a bad news to a mother about the son. So Imam Hussain alayhi salam placed the body of Qasim in the plains of Karbala, where he would place all the shuhada. Whenever he would bring back the bodies of shuhada, he would place them in a tent, which was later burnt, and he placed him. The only shaheed that was trampled by the horses within his lifetime was Qasim ibn al-Hassan. The body was trampled. Many traditions have mentioned that Imam Hussain alayhi salam giving the bad news to the mother of Qasim. The mother of Hazrat Qasim said, "Oh my son Qasim, when you make it to the paradise, tell your father that my mother still brought me to Karbala following the will that you made to her. I have now nothing left in this world. I do not wish to live. I have lost everything that I had. Tell your father that I still followed his will. I did not disobey him." I beg the mother of Qasim and I say to her, "O mother of Qasim, you have lost your son. All mothers in Karbala lost their sons. But you know that the position of these sons is very high in paradise. I believe that the mother of Qasim will return to me and say, 'I understand how high the position of my son is. But what saddens me is the way my son was killed, an innocent boy who looked like a moon on the ground, who looked like the light on the ground, who looked like an innocent person. His face was so shining. and glowing. When these people went back to Kufa, the people in Kufa said, why did you kill the children? Why did you kill someone like Qasim? Why would you kill him? They said, we did not wish to kill him, but he wouldn't run away. We gave him the chance to run away. But they were all so firm in giving their lives for Hussein. They did not wish to run away. They did not wish to escape. They wanted to give their lives for Hussein. And when they attacked, we had no choice but to kill them. They said, how hard-hearted were you that you were willing to kill the children to kill Hussein alayhi salam. Why? What was the crime of Hussein? Because he wouldn't pay allegiance to Yazid, la'natullah alayhi. He wouldn't pay allegiance to someone like Yazid. Who is Hussein? Who is lifting the bodies of all the shuhada from the morning. He picks up the body of Habib, he picks up the body of Muslim ibn Usaja, he picks up the body of Hur and the son of Hur and all other Ansar and his companions, and then his brothers, his sons, his nephews, everyone's body he picked up. And on the day of Ashura, when all bodies were removed, when they said on the 11th of Muharram, we want to trample the bodies, every single body was removed from the plains of Karbala. Every single body on the 11th of Muharram was removed except for the body of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Because one person from the families of all of those people had, or an acquaintance they had from the parents, from either the father side or the mother side, in the army of Yazid, and they said, let's save the body. But there was only one body that was trampled, and that was the body of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. I beg you to imagine Fatimatu Zahra salamullahi alayha standing there watching her son's body being trampled, saying, "Oh Allah, be my witness that when my son gave his life, all prophets turned around and did not look at my son being killed, but I watched my son being killed in front of me. This is not why I had worked so hard to bring them up. Ala la'natullahi ala al-qawmi al-zalimeen wa saya'lamu alladhina zalamu ayya munqalabin yanqalibun."